will go fast. Okay, so I'm speaking with Mr. Garrity. It's the Adam Garrity, right?
Yep, that's me.
Okay. All right. Cool. So when it comes to protecting the marijuana industry, would you be in favor of that as governor?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. In fact, I think it should be opened up so more mom and pop stores be accessible and follow LA's lead with the farmers markets.
So you're for expanding it?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's more of an illusion that it's legalized now. I think there's too much control on it from people that shouldn't have authority.
Yeah, I was expecting there to be a bunch of marijuana gardens when I got here, but I don't see any marijuana in anybody's yards.
Yeah, and there should be, or at least hemp. There should be the ability for people to grow hemp to their property because with just a half acre, they could provide enough income to support their family, buy a new house, invite family from other states to come here.
Yeah, God, it would be such a good social thing. But I guess I'm protective of recreational marijuana. So, you know, coming from Kentucky, it was illegal the whole time. I don't do any hard drugs, and I'm a good person, so it just feels weird that, you know, I have to feel like a criminal just to, you know, get a quarterback. And so being here, you know, I definitely like it here because of that. But also I feel like just in terms of, like, the movement for the legalization of marijuana, I feel like we've got it here, but we need to protect it. We need to consolidate it because there's a lot of pushback, especially with the Attorney General, saying that you're not a good person. If you smoke weed, you're not a good person. That's what he said.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. That's the Attorney General at all. Like, I think it's the same as smoking a cigarette at a bar or a restaurant, recreationally.
What would you do with the feds if they tried to come in and shut some of the pot shops down? Or is
That's why I believe the governor is in charge of the National Guard. National Guard is meant to protect the state.
Yeah.
And I believe that's the point of the Revolutionary War, is to get rid of, you know, corruption and unjust taxation.
Well, that's how our system is actually set up.
Right now.
We're a federalist system, so we got two governments. We got a state government and we got a national government. And the national government, the whole framing of it was to limit, you know, what powers they actually had.
And that's why our courts are kind of operating under admiral maritime law, not the common law of the land. That's why they're able to arrest you, the prosecution, the victim, and the judge, which is illegal in our country.
Right. What about, okay, so that's good that you'll protect marijuana. I am actually in favor. I feel like everywhere that marijuana or the legalization or the alternatives for the war on drugs have been implemented, they've been successful. And everywhere that the war on drugs has been implemented, it's been a failure. So would you be in favor of ending the war on drugs? Or maybe decriminalizing all drugs?
Yeah, I think we should definitely follow the Netherlands.
Yeah.
What they did is they decriminalized drugs, set up centers where addicts can go to get treatment and help. And it really helped out their communities dramatically.
Netherlands, Portugal did it too.
Crimes such as prostitution, which I'm not saying like for prostitution, but it shouldn't be a crime. Like
right.
Las Vegas and Germany.
So you believe that we have a right to our own body as Americans, as citizens of Colorado?
Exactly. And with that allows us to lead after a much bigger issue, such as human trafficking. And that's where the real crime is, where pretty much we have sex slaves being taken from our state to other countries.
Yeah.
And if you look at the FBI's website, they say that we have about 180,000 children a year that are taken. And that's every year. That's children. I think that comes down to about 2 children per county or state every day that's kidnapped.
Okay, so I want to move on from the marijuana. You said before you're not taking any corporate money, so you're not going to be controlled by a corporate, so you're just, relying on $5 and $10 donations from the people?
I'm not even really accepting donations. I'm just pretty much self-funded. I haven't put any money into it yet.
No, that's actually that's brilliant, man. That means you're like literally you have even if someone gave you $20, that's some influence in it. You have to at least say hi to.
Yeah, and when I used to work for the health department in Florida, and I've never received a bribe. Apparently, that's very unusual in government. So I try to stay very clean. I don't want to make it look like I'm being influenced by somebody that has money.
Yeah. No, that's really commendable and respectable, but the serious politicians or the pundits or the people that act all bourgeoisie, they say if you don't have enough money, then because the standard I guess idea is you get money, you can get TV advertisement, so the more money you get, the more likely you're able to win your election.
Yeah, a lot of people say that, but lately a lot of people are turned off of TV from my viewpoint. And I understand that. I would love to have $3.7 million, which I believe is the maximum I can have for my campaign with.
Wow.
But I feel
Wait, is that the maximum total? Is that the maximum total? Sorry to interrupt you. Well, is that the maximum total? Because Victor Mitchell, he said that he was going to probably have to put $5 million in for the primary and then another $5 million in for the general election.
Oh, that you might. I don't know all the rules. You might be running under something that allows that.
Yeah. No. Okay. Sorry. Do you remember what you were saying before? I cut you off.
Oh, about the campaign funding.
Yeah. You were saying that the most you could get is $3.1 million, and then.
Yeah, I thought the most you could get was $3.7 million.
3.7. That should be enough, and really. I would be in favor of public financing of elections because there's 8 serious candidates that looks like to me with the Democrats. I'd like to see all 8 of you all on stage, and everybody has sort of the equal amount of airtime and amount of coverage, and hopefully the Democratic Party treats each and every one of you all fairly.
Yeah, that would be awesome to have. I noticed, especially in the airtime, it'd be very different for the candidates. Especially if you look at the presidential elections in the past.
Yeah. My number 2, I got 10 things here, so I don't know how long you're going to talk to me. So, ranked choice voting. Are you familiar with ranked choice voting?
Ranked choice voting?
And if not, I'll tell you about it, and then you can tell me what you think about it.
Yeah, go ahead, tell me about it.
It's essentially to eliminate the spoiler effect. So it encourages independents to get into the ballot. So there's 8 candidates right now. So way I would literally vote for it if we had ranked choice voting here in Colorado would be number 1 candidate, is Adam Garrity. But it would go from 1 to 8. And so let's assume that I was thinking you were a fringe candidate and I didn't want to waste my vote. And so I want to vote for like Mike Johnston, who's got, all this money. So I would vote for you, number 1, and then I would vote for him, number 2. And then the way the algorithm works, it's an instant runoff. So instead of having a whole nother election, they just take the last person and they knock their votes off, and then it goes to their second choice. So basically, you get to rank them. It's more choices, more voices, and instead you don't waste your votes. You see what I'm saying? So like if you were to apply it to the general election, you could vote for Jill Stein, but when she doesn't, when she only gets 1%, that knocks Jill Stein off, and then your second choice, would be whoever, and then that's where that vote would go.
Oh, I understand. Yeah. It sounds better than the electoral college.
Yeah. Well, take a look at it. That's my second 1 out of 10, so it's pretty important to me. I think it encourages more democracy, encourages more independence, and to have a more robust conversation. I'm more Democrat than Republican, but I feel like that's too corporatist and too pro-war, and they feel too Republican to me right now. And so I want to see the Democratic Party keep their progressives or go progressive, and if they can't do that, then I think that, it's time for the honest liberals or lefties to go somewhere else. Why are you a Democrat? If you don't mind me asking.
Why am I a Democrat?
Yeah.
I was raised by a Republican on my father's side and a Democrat on my mother's side. I was raised mainly by my mother, who's a Democrat. And I've seen how the Democrats care more about the people.
Right.
And the Republicans seem to care more about what the corporate
Right.
So that's why I'm more of a Democrat.
Yeah, no, that's good.
But,
What do you think about unions?
unions, I think they're pretty great when they work correctly.
Yeah.
But just like anything, money talks, and a lot of corporations tend to just pay people off.
I guess with unions, I've been a part of a couple of them here with just sort of crap jobs. They weren't that effective, but I feel like the only other leverage I had as an employee, as an at-will employee, would have been if I was a part of a union. Without the union, I could just get fired for giving, my boss the stink eye one day.
And like, I recently went and worked at Walmart's nights out here. Have a job, see what it was like, because
Yeah.
it's a pretty big deal when I was doing it about last year or so. And some issues. I got employee of the month within 2 weeks.
Nice.
I had some issues with some supervisors there, and they didn't know who I was or anything. And the union for that corporation did nothing to help at all.
There was a union at Walmart, though?
Whatever employee, I think there is a union for Walmart, yeah.
Because most of the time they're pretty anti-union, so you worked at a pretty unique Walmart.
Yeah, you're right. The production, they have a thing about they're talking about how he's anti-union, and how Walmart doesn't need union.
Right.
But they had, so I got confused there. Yeah, thanks for.
Maybe they just have like a guy there, employee complaints or something, guy to sort of take the place of a union or to be some sort of ombudsman and in between. But
yeah,
I guess
something like that.
My thing with unions, I don't know. Personally, I guess I haven't been part of a good union, but I know historically, that's how we got the weekend. It's how we got the 8-hour workday. It's how we got rid of child labor. It is the only leverage you would have in the workplace. But I guess I don't know. Maybe the American people aren't educated enough. Maybe I could say that. Because if I'm working at Burger King, right, and so I look at it, and the managers are treating us shitty. So if we all just banded together and say, look, you're going to do what we say, or we're not going to, on a Friday night when it's busy, we're just going to sit down until you do what we say, and that would work. That would work, but that would require a little risk, a little planning, and you have the potential of getting fired of it, totally ending your job prospects. So historically, I know it's important, and I think I believe in labor over capital. I believe in people over, buildings, but, both are important. So, any reactions to any of what I just said?
Yeah, like the Truckers Association, I think it was Jimmy Hoffa started
Teamsters,
that.
the Teamsters.
Yeah, the Teamsters. I think that movie was awesome.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody, that's like a must-watch movie.
Yeah, cool.
And I don't think the union, like, I don't have much experience with the unions. The experience I have working in the industry, I know of people that works for the police that work in the unions now that just do illegal stuff.
Oh,
I don't know them personally, but this is from like secondhand eyewitness.
No. So you're saying that the police unions could be corrupt?
Oh, those are? Without a doubt.
No, that's a good point, because it does seem weird that we don't have. There's I don't know. It's one of the big unions. They want to pass the Employee Free Choice Act so we can get everybody can vote for a union everywhere. So any small businesses, and most small businesses don't have unions, but our public employees, they're unionized. Their job is safe and secure. It just seems like a weird use of taxpayer money. I can understand maybe teachers a little bit, but I don't know. I guess, yeah. Police. You criticize the police. Do you believe that a badge doesn't change the humanity of the person? So, like, there are bad police. You believe that a police officer, it's possible for a police officer to be bad?
Yes. I did private security for a very expensive company. Did private investigations. That's where I met Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, working for his property and stuff like that. Beyonce, Judge Judy. I can go on and on about the names, but what's interesting is I would retrain retired police officers. Now, hear a lot of their experiences and stories, and some of them would document all the corruption that would go on and how even like judges, family members would get off of murder charges.
Wow.
And when you look at Colorado, our police are in their own biker gangs.
Yeah.
And I think it was just last year where they went and killed a rival member of a biker gang and got off on murder right there.
Damn.
I personally believe that the majority of our police are profiting and allowing the meth and heroin trade, not only in Colorado, but in other states, such as in Florida, when all the ecstasy from the evidence locker was somebody, like a police officer, was flying with it to Amsterdam or somewhere in Europe. So they're caught every now and then. But
yeah, no, I guess that's why. People are just so, like blindly pro-police sometimes, and it baffles me, to be honest with you. I mean, I think anybody has the capacity of being good or evil at any moment, at any time of the day. And then to assume that somebody, like, take the sheriff. You got the sheriff in Fremont County who's getting recalled right now because of they found some evidence of a murder in one of his deputies' storage bins. And it's 15 years later, 10 years later. And so just some people wrote an article about it, and they was like, but I like the police, but I don't know about this. This seems wrong. And it's kind of like, are you kidding? He's covering up a murder. If one person out here shot another person, well, that person's going to get arrested. He's going to go to jail. They're going to investigate him. They're going to, file a bunch of information, as they should. They should do all those things. But when a police officer is suspected of murder, they, they drag their feet. They take forever. It seems like they're partially covering the thing up. And it's just crazy. I mean, putting a badge on doesn't change your character or your virtue. If anything, I think it would make you more likely to be corrupt. Wouldn't it? Because you have power now, and if you're a sheriff, then you would know where you can hide things and where there's holes in the system, so you could probably get away with a whole bunch of bullshit.
And that's why people get those jobs, so they can't get away with their organized crime.
I thought it was to help the community, to be like Andy Griffith, right? To go around de-escalating situations and just.
And that's how it should be, and that's one of the main reasons I'm running for governor is because I'm so tired of the police corruption where children are scared to go to the police. Like, if I have kids, I will tell them, don't go to the police for help. Go to these neighbors, right?
Right. I feel like they're the biggest.
Be like that.
I don't know Pueblo police. I don't know anybody really around here, so the way I would treat the Pueblo police, because they're like the officials, so if I needed, it was a car wreck, I need someone to do some paperwork. But I feel like I would just treat them as a big gang. They're the biggest gang in this town. And so some of them could be good, some of them could be bad. I just have to sort of play it by ear, just like if I was meeting, a crypt or some militia, some Minutemen or something, So I'd have to just play it by ear, Some are good, some are bad, and hopefully I get the roll of the dice is in my favor.
The way it's been going, the majority are bad because they make sure the good ones are kicked out.
Yeah. Oh my God, man. Yeah, exactly. Right. The thin blue line. So you can't ever rat on. That's the biggest crime ever. No, if I'm the sheriff and one of my guys robbed, murdered, did some criminal activities, I'm not gonna let that happen in my name. You know what I mean? Like, I would separate myself from that kind of person. It's like, well, we've been going around beating people up for years, so I guess he can get this one. We'll let him have this murder. It's all right. I don't know.
And I think that the blue line American flag is just as bad as the American flag. You just distorted it with the different colors. You took away the red, white, and blue. That means a lot to me. Like people died for that flag.
Yeah.
And not just that flag, but for our freedoms, what it represents.
Let me let's see. Going green. What do you think about solar and wind power and climate change and the fossil fuel industry?
I've been researching it pretty heavily. Trying to convert my house to just solar and wind. Colorado has so much wind; it's awesome. The biggest problem that our infrastructure has is what I don't see too many people talking about. The way our electric grid works is they generate enough power that everybody uses. And when people don't need to use that much power, they turn the coal mines down a little bit.
Yeah.
What we need to do is set up a battery infrastructure. So when we have extra power from our wind generators, we can store it.
God, yeah.
Right now we don't have any storage options.
Hell yeah, man. There was a big controversy in Florida. And tell me what you think about this, because Occupy and the Tea Party were in favor of this, but somehow I guess the fossil fuel industry had some kind of monopoly where if you weren't on the grid, then you were getting fined, and they said if you had solar panels, you could use solar panels for your own house, but they made it illegal to sell it to your neighbor. And so the Tea Party and the Occupy, fought against that because they're kind of like, what is that about? It's you collected the solar energy, you sold it to your neighbor. So what does that have? Where's the crime? I mean, would you be in favor? Can I sell my solar power to my neighbor? Would you, as governor, allow that to happen? Or?
Oh yeah, I think in Colorado you can do that right now as well.
Okay, that's good.
It's really a small amount that they're going to give you, and you set it up with your power company. I think it's about like 2 cents per kilowatt hour.
Yeah.
But yeah, they can set up here. The problem with Florida is Jeb Bush. When I grew up, I saw a real estate lawyer talking with Jeb Bush in the 80s, and they were just buying up all this property. And so when Jeb Bush was governor, he wouldn't even pass laws that the people voted for to help the educational system. He's like, I even remember him specifically saying this. I don't care what the people voted for. I'm not going to do it, is what Jeb Bush said. And I thought that was pretty sad. And I feel the opposite. My place, when I become governor, is to do what the people want. So anybody come into my office, doesn't matter like the time of day, unless I'm sleeping pretty much, but I'm going to try to be there until the door closes, the last person leaves my office.
Yeah.
So I can listen to what people need to get done in the state. I'm not going to go golfing or vacationing. It's about what the people feel is best.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's the essence of democracy. So, what about the Sweden's trash to electric? Have you heard about this plan? Are you in favor of it?
Oh, yeah. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, isn't that amazing? You get rid of trash, and it turns I guess the critics, they say you're burning trash. So burning trash, you have to do something with that smoke, right? So they're saying it's not green because you burn trash. But I disagree. I mean, if it's green to shove it into a landfill, that's not green. So unless we're shooting it out into space, I think incinerating it's a good idea.
And there's ways to filter it as well. And I really like the way I think it's Japan, how they charge people a certain amount for their trash, and then you're able to recycle it. You don't have to pay waste trash fee at all. So if you organize your recycling correctly, it's free trash.
Yeah, Sweden actually is. They're so successful. They're buying Norway's trash.
Yeah.
They ran out of trash. It's like, damn it, where's it? We need some more trash. So I guess I got just one specific question and one sort of general question left. The poor and the homeless. What do you want to do about them? I feel just a little preface about it. Just capitalism. I feel like that's the biggest example of capitalism failing is the fact that we have homeless and even poverty too.
And we can easily solve it. The main problem that people have when they're homeless, getting jobs and stuff, is they don't have an address.
Right.
You can't get an ID without an address, so you're basically, the way our system's designed now is they're not a person. That's not right. So Colorado has enough land that we can designate land for homeless people.
Nice.
And allow them to have an address to get an ID and a place to sleep, because the hardest part of being homeless is you can't get any sleep out there.
Yeah.
And if you can't get any sleep, how can you live?
It just seems like it's a coordination failure, man. I've once heard this one statistic: 22 houses for every. We have 22 abandoned houses for every homeless person.
Mm-hmm.
So just like what you said with the land, and we got houses, and we got all the land. So all it would take is just somebody to give a damn. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's I don't know. It's like having an injury. I've been injured, and if you don't go to the hospital right away, you just feel like you're making the injury worse. I feel like that's the same thing with homelessness. Like they're not a person, but they're also out in the streets. And I would be more resentful, or you resigned, to the situation. Oh well, this is my life now. But
Yeah.
if you still keep your pride, wouldn't it just your resentment just grow more and more? Like everybody just passing by you, nobody giving a crap. Everybody got cars, everybody got houses, and nobody gives a crap. That would be
give somebody hope in the future, something to look forward to. And we have enough land that we can do a non-profit employment for the homeless to work.
Yeah.
Gathering hay off of Colorado's public lands that are not in use.
Yeah, or just have jobs in the community too. You could have somebody, I don't know, doing landscaping or something. Is there? I guess that leads to the last question I want to talk to you about. All these issues, like I like how you answered all the questions. Really, the devil's in the details. So I don't know if you have a plan for how you would, curb police brutality, or what you would do with, cut out corruption with private prisons, or when it comes to the homeless, like that homeless plan, that homeless idea about the land. Have you wrote that down? Is there any place for the people to see your platform, of your main points of your ideas, and then your specific plans for each one of the...
You'd be the first spot besides me just putting stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
I haven't at it too much, getting all my plans out there, I guess.
Okay, I feel like there's I don't know, Matt Bevin is the governor of Kentucky right now, and so he was, Republican, but he used different tactics that I liked, and I'm losing it. What I was trying to say. He said one thing about every time you shake someone's hand, that's a vote, and and then plans. So he put like kind of a skeleton plan out there. Even Donald Trump did the same thing. They said they were this, for this or for that, and they would just kind of put like a couple bullet points. Because I guess the fear is that the more detailed that you get into it, people were criticizing Jill Stein for saying that we could use quantitative easing to get rid of our student loan debt. They're making it seem like she didn't understand the system, which I think that's right. I think that's, what she said is possible. But if you have a plan, you know what I mean? Like the more detailed, the more they can sort of pick at it. But to have some plan in place, it leaves give a lot of the I don't know, maybe your leaders in the community more confidence that what you're saying is backed by a concrete plan.
Yeah, definitely. That makes a lot of sense what you're saying there. Like you were saying with the police brutality and stuff, and the problem with the prison system.
Yeah.
I would try to immediately work on making, when the police break the laws, to have double the punishment of a normal citizen.
Yeah, that's easy. That's nice. So
yeah, right away.
if a police officer I guess beats their kids, then they get the double the amount of a sentence that the citizen would if they did that.
Yes. And as well as making it truly anonymous for police to whistleblow.
Nice.
When they see corruption in the department, so that way they can't have backlash.
Whistleblower protections.
So I'd like to set up a team like almost like Elliot Ness Party.
Yeah.
Not for prohibition, but
nice. An untouchable though. An untouchable crew.
Yeah. And mainly to go after the judges that there's a lot of judges. A gentleman that made up the checking routing numbers went after corrupt judges and discovered that they were getting money from court fees and stuff sent directly overseas to slush funds.
Oh my God.
So judges are actually profiting from making.
Is this recently? Did the media expose this, or is this just underground?
Like 15 years ago.
Oh, okay. That's I wouldn't doubt it, man. I saw the ballot on these judges, and you don't even vote for judges. Like between two people, you just say whether or not you want to keep them. And so I don't even understand that. It's like once you get in and you're appointed. So that's God. The governor is really important when it comes to who gets to be judge around here.
And I think it would be really important that we kind of follow California. I don't appreciate their gun laws. And that's another subject. I think we should get rid of the magazine ban in Colorado, as well as make a hearing protection act so people can use silencers when they're hunting. But
Yeah.
I would like to label all items that have GMO food produce on our shelves,
Yeah.
like how California is doing, and as well label the product. Just last week I got an air conditioner on the cord. It said, "Don't touch the cord. California's not about this gives you birth defects." I'm like, why isn't Colorado doing this? You know, I don't want to get birth defects from touching a cord that I plug into the wall.
Right.
You know
baby powder. There was a jury just recently for the fourth time in a row. They said that Johnson & Johnson baby powder causes cancer.
Yeah, that's sad, isn't it?
Well, like what you said, GMO, I've heard actually good arguments back and forth for kind of both sides, but I feel like more labeling, more information is a good thing. I do want to know where my food is coming from, so, and I would like to know if it's, I don't personally think it's totally all GMO is just automatically bad, though.
So I do have plans and stuff, but I kind of feel if I put it all out there that I wouldn't be too safe.
Well, I think you could put, like, if you had, I don't know, Huey Newton, he had a 10-point plan, and it was just nice and concise so that the followers or their fans or whatever could just, when they're talking to somebody else, just say, well, he's got a 10-point plan. Check out his 10-point plan. And 10's a nice, round little number. So you don't have to have real detailed plans in it, but to give it a general, I felt like, I guess the reason why I got so excited about you was just that, even though I didn't know you were just like, your issues and you weren't like a traditional candidate, so I had to sort of figure out who you were. You had memes, mocking Trump. You had memes about, corrupt police. You're using Facebook. You're on Twitter. And then apparently, I guess I didn't even ask you about your personal stuff, but you said something that you dabble in cryptocurrency, but the main thing, you're in the marijuana industry right now. So somehow do you own retail outlet, or do you own like some land or something, or how are you involved with the marijuana industry?
Oh, okay. With the marijuana industry, when I first came up here, I started working as a master grower for some dispensaries that had the highest plant count in Denver, or the highest patient count in Denver.
Yeah.
So I was planting about 5 stores. I was mainly doing the grow mostly myself because they were so in debt. Went to go work for another company. Quickly learned that it would be best to work for myself.
Yeah.
When I left that company, the gentleman told everybody I stole from him and tried to pretty much blacklist my name in the industry.
That sucks.
So I've been bounced around. A buddy of mine a couple years ago, get his dispensary going, and his warehouse going, and mainly focused on making bubble hash. I get it in the 90 percentile. You can't distinguish it from butane hash.
Yeah.
Or the rosin hash. So a lot of people get confused with that. I just use nothing but water and ice.
Huh.
I have a pretty good method. So I recently got married. So I actually live outside Denver now.
Yeah.
In a really, really small town of about 200 people.
Nice.
And due to the people in the cryptocurrency talking about assassinating me.
Yeah.
That's why I say I still live in Denver.
Oh, okay. That's fine. You don't. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
keep all that.
Gabriel gentleman. But,
how? I mean, people talk, right? North Korea's been threatening to kill us for a long time. How, on a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous are you about it, or how likely do you think?
I'm pretty confident in our armed forces being able to take out any country out there. I currently think that Trump is allowing, not just Trump, but the previous administrations.
Yeah.
Like Bush, like 9/11 was obviously an inside job.
Nice.
Or they're dismantling our defensive military systems to allow Russia, China, and whoever else, Korea, as an excuse to start a war with us, and to pretty much come in and take over. Which I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't.
I was actually asking more specifically about your personal situation, like how, you know, people can threaten and say whatever it is they want to say, but do you think you're going to get killed? How likely do you think you might? These people are. How serious are these people? And what did you do? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have to tell me any of that, but like, are you okay? I guess just for your safety, are you gonna be okay? Like, how? I guess just.
I'm pretty confident on defending myself. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a really, really good shot.
Good.
Like I judge like the tilt of the earth spin.
I think that is pretty titillating though about the story. Like, why would someone want to kill you? Is this somebody like from the Federal Reserve? Is this you said that one guy that was in that article, so like a former colleague turned, you know, I guess, enemy?
Yeah, he wasn't as much as a colleague, he was just a stalker for the currency.
Yeah, it did say that you were the main
actually.
founder and he was like a co-founder, but it sounded like he just kind of jumped in with, you know, helping you. Like, I don't know if that's a co-founder.
He kind of just jumped in and tried to mess things up. Like, he had dispensaries that are wanting to use the coin, and he messed that up. But really, it was a gentleman I talked to before him named Elo that was big in cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
That showed me how the exchanges were doing illegal bot trading and manipulating the markets.
Wow.
And I did not like that, so I wanted to find a way my coin without the exchanges, because I want to die happy knowing.
Well, yeah.
Shit
well, I think actually it goes to the strength of the currency. If you got all this, you know, corruption behind it, then that the long term, you know, sort of how strong that currency will be isn't going to be good.
Yeah. And I've helped with other currencies as well that have come and gone. I left their teams for the same reasons. They were bad. This guy was worried about losing his life. Not even a year later, he died.
Oh, damn. In Colorado?